Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video on the Rave Green TV YouTube channel. And today we got something special to talk about. It's another one of those times where we just got to sit down and have a bit of a conversation, a bit of dialogue about what's been going on with the team recently, but more specifically, a single player. And that player is a player whose jersey I bought 10 literal minutes after he signed for this team. A player who has taken Sounders fans, the MLS, and now the world by storm. That man is, of course, number 10, Pedro de la Vega. We've all seen what's happened recently. Pedro de la Vega has absolutely turned up a complete new level. He has turned a leaf from what his career for the Sounders has been so far, and it looks like one of the best players in the MLS right now, just off of sheer ability and talent. The kinds of goals that he's been scoring recently are legitimately world class. He has played like a world class player when you look at the finish against San Jose, when you look at the 2 goals against Cruz Azul. Those kind of goals, the best players in the world would score them, and people would say, wow, this is like absolutely world-class ability. And we have a Sounders player scoring those kinds of goals. And I just want to sit down and just have a discussion, kind of just recap kind of everything that's just gone on with Pedro de la Vega's Sounders career, where we were at, where we are at now. Maybe we can talk about and see like what has happened, what has changed, what can we look forward to, stuff like that. So if you haven't already, please throw a thumbs up on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not, or if you are new. And if you haven't already, check out our YouTube membership. It's only a couple dollars. You get a lot of cool perks, including asking us any question about the Sounders, world of football, or any topic. And we're going to put it into a video. Yeah, check that out if you haven't already. We would greatly appreciate it. And let's get right into it. When Pedro de la Vega signed for the Sounders, I don't think there's been a player under more pressure to deliver than him. The only other player that I can argue is Clint Dempsey and maybe Raul Ruidiaz, but Pedro de la Vega, coming from Argentina, going into a country he's never been in, playing for one of the biggest clubs in the MLS, taking the jersey number of the club's greatest ever player who had just left that offseason. The expectations for delivering were absolutely massive. When we had signed him, I had known of him for a while. I've never actually watched a whole lot of him. But watching his highlights, I was like, man, dude, this kid, like, he could really be something special. I mean, you've seen in the past players coming from Argentina that have absolutely delivered on a massive scale. I mean, like biggest example I can think of is Miguel Almiron. Diego Valeri literally came from the same exact club that Pedro came from, and he delivered. You know, he was an MVP. So when we signed him, I was absolutely stoked. So stoked that I bought his jersey literally 10 minutes after the signing got announced. And when that first game came away at LAFC and he came off the bench, to me it was evident this dude's got something. This dude has it. The way he came onto the game, first time really ever playing with these guys other than preseason, completely took the game by the scruff of the neck, scored a big time pressure penalty. And that was our first taste of that kind of talent. And to me, it has never been a talent issue with Pedro de la Vega. So when it was the lowest of the lows with him here, you know, like barely playing at all, you know, missed the sitter against Botafogo, missed the sitter against Kansas City. Like even at those lowest moments, to me, it was never a talent issue ever because we had seen the moments that he had, the little sparks that he had in these games where you saw a player that could take over a game completely. And I was so excited watching him come off the bench. I'm like, just wait until he can get acclimated to this team. And then he gets hurt in that Austin game. And you're like, no, man, no. He was the one exciting part of this team where you're like, this has kind of been the same old for a bit. He was like the one breath of fresh air. And then he got hurt. And that was just the theme of Pedro's first year. He would come back, get hurt, come back, get hurt. He could never establish rhythm at all. Constantly playing through injuries, constantly trying to stay healthy, not able to put together consistent 90-minute games. But even all that crap he was dealing with last year, he still showed sparks in these games. I think of the Portland game, for example, there was a sequence of play where he beats like 3, 4, 5 guys in a row, almost scores. Like you see stuff like that and you're like, the dude has it, man. The dude has it. He just needs to get a run of form going. So to close off the year with that kind of performance, I'm like, okay, you know, coming into next year, he should be fully healthy, and then we can really see what he's got, you know. And it was looking like that. Every preseason report was just raving Pedro de la Vega, Pedro de la Vega. He's going to break out. He's destroying in training. He's destroying in preseason. And then the start of the year looked exactly like that. I mean, you see the CONCACAF Champions Cup, his performances against Antigua, albeit a bit of a lesser competition, right? But even in the MLS, he was putting in good performances when he actually got the playing time. And then he got hurt. And it's frustrating because the kid always had the talent, but could just never stay healthy. And then you're just looking at a career where it's like, he's not a bust, but is he like one of the biggest what ifs in Sounders history? Like, that's kind of what the narrative had become. And when he had gotten back from injury, he could just never get more than like 20, 25 minutes, or it would be 20 minutes one game, 50 to 60 the next game, 20 minutes the next game. Like, this is not consistent playing time for a player of his talent, a player of his inexperience. Like, you need to keep rolling him out. And I get it, it was hard, right, because of all the injuries. You didn't want to, keep overplaying him, right? But it got to a point where Brian just didn't rate him at all. I mean, he was consistently, until the San Jose game, he was playing like 10, 15, 20 minutes consistently. In those games, he wasn't looking the best. He wasn't looking the best. I mean, Botafogo, he missed a big chance. Everyone obviously remembers that. Sporting Kansas City, we remember that opportunity where Kent beat like 4 players, took it the length of the field, played Pedro in, and he skied it. When you combine all of that, it just looked like his confidence was crushed. I mean, after all these injuries and losing your spot and just falling out of the rotation, I could tell watching him play, like, he didn't have the same liveliness, the same flair. It looked like he was questioning himself. He didn't want to take people on. He just wanted to kind of play and move. And when he had the opportunity to make something happen, he was scuffing his chances. And to me, even at that lows, I'm like, it's not a sign of talent. I think he's just absolutely like on the floor when it comes to confidence. But when you can never stay healthy, when manager doesn't rate you, when your confidence is shot, and then there's rumors of like, hey, Botafogo might be interested, Atlanta's interested in a trade, which ended up to be fake, but the Botafogo interest was there. And I'm assuming there's probably a couple other clubs we haven't heard about. I mean, at that point, it was like, it sucks. He's so mega talented, but maybe it's just not the right fit here. Maybe he needs a restart. If we could get like 5-6 million for him, free up that DP spot, and maybe it's just best for him if he moves. That's kind of the point it had gotten to, and it sucked. I'm not gonna lie, it hurt me watching Pedro de la Vega get slandered all over social media, and I just like sucked. It was like a burning thing in my chest where I'm like, I promise this kid is good. I promise you he has all this talent in the world, man. It just, I hate to keep making excuses, but literally nothing is breaking this kid's way. And at this point, it seems like all hope is starting to get lost. And then the San Jose game happens. There has not been a performance from any Sounder at all this season that combined that level of clutchness and that level of quality. The way he just took over the game and the fashion that he did it, that is magic. That is DP contract level play. And that was the first real time we saw him put it all together. When that happened, I felt like this kid should not lose his starting spot. You have to keep writing this out. I was in an hour-long argument in our group chat, like defending him. Like, I know Rothrock's been decent and he's like been able to capitalize on a few opportunities, but what we just saw, no player on the team has that except for him. Maybe Ryan Kent, but Brian Kent's been so passive recently where it's like he is uber talented, Pedro is, and he's aggressive, willing to change the game. You have to see it through. This is your biggest investment in club history. The most talented player in the team, or one of them. You have to see it completely through. And we did. The Atlanta game, he starts, plays most of the game, gets a goal, and then you see what happens off the bench. Scores a fantastic goal. And then the 7th goal of the game. One of the best goals you will ever see in your entire life. And I'm so happy it is all starting to come together. This is what, I'm not saying I envisioned that goal. That goal is fucking generational. Like, once in a decade, you'll see maybe a goal that good. But this kind of play, just this level of player, the designated player ability, like, I had envisioned this for so long, and I had defended him for so long. And when it just seemed like it was the lowest of the low, and even then I just couldn't find it in my heart to be like, he's a bust. I couldn't say that, man. I just, like, I've seen what I've seen with his ability. I could never call him a bust. To me, it was always a what if things didn't work out. I can never just fully give up hope on what I'd seen out of Pedro de la Vega. And now we're starting to see the fruits of it. Now he's starting to put it all together. And what does this mean for the Sounders now? Obviously, you got to keep riding Pedro de la Vega. He is the first name on the team sheet outside of maybe Christian and Obed, but he is right there. He is absolutely one of the best players on this team. He is firing on all cylinders right now. And I think no matter what, you got to keep rolling this kid out, keep building on this. I would be so pissed off if Pedro de la Vega, maybe the next 2 games, doesn't contribute a goal or assist and then gets put back into the doghouse where he was before. That would be such a horrible mismanagement of Pedro de la Vega. You need to run this kid out. Pedro de la Vega, if he can keep building on these performances and keep this level of play up, he will be the centerpiece of this team, the centerpiece of the attack for years to come. Praying to God that he can stay healthy, please. That is also the next step. Just please stay healthy. And we could really see an absolute takeoff of this guy. We were already seeing the breakout, but we could really see it consistently over the next couple years, and that's the goal. All in all, it is Pedro's left wing spot to lose. I'm so happy for his breakout, and I cannot wait to see what is next to come. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a thumbs up in the video if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new, and make sure to check out our YouTube membership that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. And I hope y'all have a blessed day.